Let's go Dolphins! The Miami Dolphins 2025 schedule is out, and the excitement is real. Things are heating up behind the scenes at Dolphins headquarters, and I have some crucial updates to share with you now. We all know the Dolphins are in the running to make it to the Super Bowl, and to make that happen, Mike McDaniel is going to need a roster that delivers. The path to the playoffs isn't just about talent, it's also about timing, resilience, and how well this team can fight through a season that the NFL has made much more intense. I'll break it down for you, but before we go any further, hit that like button, but only if you're a true Miami Dolphins fan. And if you've been wearing the aqua blue and orange for over 20 years, leave a comment below. Go Dolphins! My heart bleeds aqua blue and orange. Now let's get right to it. The Dolphins 2025 schedule is a roller coaster ride. We start week 1 on the road in Indianapolis, thankfully in a dome, so no bad weather. This will be a big matchup, and while the Colts are still figuring out their quarterback situation, it's far from a cakewalk. Week 2 is a classic Dolphins schedule, a 1 p.m. September home game against the New England Patriots. The Patriots will be sweating in the Miami heat, and history tells us that favors the Fins. Week 3 cranks up the drama fast with a Thursday night football showdown in Buffalo. It's not a cold weather game, but it's still Buffalo, our nemesis. Let's be real, we don't play well in prime time, and we haven't consistently beaten Buffalo. Until the Dolphins prove otherwise, that one's a toss-up. Week 4 keeps the spotlight on us with a Monday night game back home. That's 2 primetime games in a row. Then Week 5 takes us to Carolina. On paper, this first 5-game stretch isn't brutal. If things fall our way, 4-1 is a real possibility heading into Week 6. But hold up, Week 6 brings the Chargers to Miami. Another 1 o'clock game, but the Chargers, depending on their offense, could bring a tough fight. Then it's Week 7, off to Cleveland. Here's where the cold begins to creep in. Thankfully, it's only October 19th. Still, with Cleveland's uncertain QB situation, this could swing either way. Week 8, Falcons. Dome team, 1 o'clock game. Manageable. But then comes Week 9, and here's where the schedule goes full throttle. Thursday night football against the Ravens. Physical team, late season, national spotlight. Halloween weekend. This one is huge. And that's not the end of it. Week 10, we host Buffalo again, but this time at home and not under the lights. Maybe we can finally exorcise some demons in the daylight. Then comes the international twist. Week 11, Dolphins head to Madrid for a 9:30 a.m. showdown. And thankfully, Week 12 is the bye week. That's a crucial breather after the long flight and 10 straight games. Perfect timing? Maybe not, but it's about as good as we could have hoped for under the circumstances. But what about that post-bye grind? Week 13 is Thanksgiving weekend, and we get the Saints at home. Again, QB questions loom for New Orleans. Week 14, we visit the Jets. Cold weather in December, yes, but the bigger question is, who's under center for New York? Then comes Week 15, Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh. Brutal, cold, primetime, December 15th. It's going to test our mettle, no doubt. Week 16, Dolphins return home for a Sunday Night Football matchup against Cincinnati. Another high-stakes, high-profile game. That makes it 5 primetime games for the season. Week 17 brings Tampa Bay to Miami, more manageable, but still potentially dangerous depending on their playoff push. And then we close the regular season in New England. Freezing conditions, hostile crowd, playoff implications likely on the line. Let me just highlight that again. 5 primetime games, Thursday nights against Buffalo and Baltimore, Monday nights against the Jets and Steelers, and a Sunday night showdown with the Bengals. Plus, the Washington Commanders game will also be nationally televised, giving us 6 total spotlight games. Look, the Dolphins supposedly have the 9th easiest schedule, but don't be fooled. This season is filled with landmines. The back-to-back primetime games, the cold weather road games late in the year, and the international travel to Madrid are all hurdles. But this team has no excuses. This is the NFL. If you want to win, you have to go through fire. The only thing that can hold this team back is themselves. Injuries, poor offensive line play, or regression in the secondary, those could send us tumbling to a 6-win season. But if things click, if the corners step up, the line holds, and the offense finds its rhythm, then 11 wins isn't just a dream, it's the expectation. So what do you think, Dolphins fans? Does this schedule feel like a playoff push or a disaster waiting to happen? Let me know in the comments, and if you're ready for part 2, just say the word. The road ahead for the Dolphins after the bye week is where things start to take on a playoff atmosphere vibe every single Sunday. The stakes are going to feel high, and there's very little room for error. Starting with the Week 13 clash against the Saints at home, it's one of those matchups that's going to come down to discipline and execution. New Orleans is a team in flux, especially at quarterback, but if there's anything we've learned about the Dolphins, it's that playing down to the competition has been a problem in the past. This can't be one of those trap games. Then we hit Week 14, and it's up to the Big Apple to take on the Jets. Now, this game has a ton of layered narratives, divisional rivalry, cold weather, potential playoff implications, and again, the big quarterback question for New York. Is it Justin Fields? Is it someone else? No matter who's under center, the Dolphins have to treat this game as must-win, especially coming off the bye with a division opponent on deck. It's a test of focus and how well this team can manage a hostile environment in December. And then, Week 15, Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh. This is a statement game. Not only is it a cold December night at Acrisure Stadium, but it's also a national spotlight moment that can define the narrative for Miami heading into the playoffs. Primetime road games and frigid temperatures aren't our strong suit, but champions are forged in fire and frost. This one's going to say a lot about the character of this team. Fast forward to Week 16, Sunday Night Football back at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. By this point, playoff seeding and wild-card dreams are either surging or slipping. This is the kind of game where stars need to shine. We're talking about Tua Tagovailoa versus Joe Burrow, Tyreek Hill versus that Bengals secondary. If Miami's healthy, and that's a big if, this could be the most electric atmosphere Hard Rock Stadium sees all season. And again, we have the rare luxury of back-to-back primetime games, first Monday in Pittsburgh, then Sunday night under the lights in South Florida. That's playoff prep right there. Week 17 sees the Bucs come to town, and by then, Tampa Bay might be clinging to their own playoff hopes. Or maybe they're out of it, and this becomes a must-win trap game for Miami. Either way, it's at home, it's late in the season, and there's no excuse to not dominate in your own house. And then the finale, Week 18 in Foxborough. Look, say what you want about the Patriots' current state, but closing the season in New England is never a freebie. Weather will be a factor. Emotions will be high. And with 5 primetime games behind them, the Dolphins better be battle-tested and ready to win when it matters most. Let's not forget the added layer of the Madrid game in Week 11. That's a long flight, a massive media spotlight, and a schedule disruption that can linger. But with a bye week immediately after, the Dolphins can reset and prepare for the final stretch. That bye, Week 12, is perfectly placed, just in time to heal, refocus, and make the playoff push. When you break down the schedule piece by piece, the structure itself does the Dolphins no favors, but it also doesn't doom them. In fact, this is the kind of gauntlet that can galvanize a roster. The early stretch is manageable. The midseason chunk is brutal with the Ravens, Bills, and Madrid trip all within 3 weeks. The back half is about surviving cold games and showing up in the clutch under the bright lights. The question isn't whether this team has talent. They do. The question is whether Chris Greer's decisions will finally catch up with them. Because let's be honest, this team has depth concerns. The O-line remains suspect. The cornerback room needs answers. And once again, we're banking on a clean bill of health across a long and unforgiving schedule. But here's the deal. Mike McDaniel knows what's at stake. He knows this fan base is hungry. He knows that 5 primetime games means the league is watching. It's time to show up or shut up. This isn't just another season. This is a make or break moment. The fans are ready. The stage is set. And for once, the spotlight is on Miami. If you're fired up about this schedule, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe. We've got more breakdowns, film analysis, and behind-the-scenes updates coming your way all season long. The next video is already on screen, so tap in, keep the conversation going in the comments, and as always, go Dolphins!